Usually when I press record, I have a topic that I want to discuss, a whole slate of points surrounding that topic that will fill out a video and hopefully make it something worth your while. Today, though, today being the day after the Metroid overview trailer released, after I did my reactions, after I went and checked out everybody else's impressions, and then after finally reading the room and seeing what everyone was mainly talking about, I decided to finally go to sleep after all that hype. And when I woke up, I pressed record. No topic, no bunch of different points that I want to hit. I pressed record because of Myles Mackenzie. And I'm here right now talking to you because of Myles Mackenzie. If you're wondering who's Myles Mackenzie, I'm surprised you're here. But Myles Mackenzie is a Federation soldier. You see him right there holding on to that vine. Myles Mackenzie is a specialist, like the brains of the group. Yes, the group, because there's going to be a bunch of Federation soldiers. Different races, different sexes. It's a beautiful thing to see. But Myles Mackenzie is the first one you're going to interact with. And Myles Mackenzie is going to work as a sort of guide. He's not going to be Navi all the time, 24/7 with you. But kind of. Because, Samus, right? She wears this space armor. And in it, there's technology for her to communicate with other Federation soldiers and Aurora units and things like that. See, because she's communicated with other things from within her helmet while she was out and about. Beacon received. So you might talk to Myles more than just, the beginning section. But will it be exactly like the beginning section? Highly doubtful. But there is a beginning section, and the beginning section is a tutorial section. And I think I could sit here and clearly break down why this exists. I think if you're a Metroid fan, it's wild that I have to break down why this exists. But if you don't know, real quick, it exists because Metroid games are one of one. I can name a bunch of games that fall under the Metroidvania umbrella that are actually nothing like a 2D Metroid game when it comes to all of the aspects that makes a Metroid game. Axiom Verge really gets probably the closest to a Metroid game, right? And even that I would say is different. Star Wars, when it comes to the 3D Prime-like games, which, again, there's nothing really that exists quite like it. But Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, Survivor, they're kind of like it, but they aren't. And those games have very heavy character talking, like Drake telling you, whoa, yeah, I should go up there, da, da, da. They do all of that stuff, the AAA gaming thing. And that game is similar to Prime, but not quite like Prime. Prime games have a lot of different elements. From scanning to blasting doors. People make jokes about jumping, but jumping is a major part of the game because it's a platformer. This isn't a regular FPS where there's not a lot of platform there. This is something where it's like, man, hopefully you played some Doom previously because there's going to be some jumping around. It's that. It's your morph ball. It's the getting lost. It's the mazes. It's the constant puzzles. And not just regular, the Metroid puzzles that you and I know, but no, now there's psychic puzzles and take this ore from over here and put it over there in order to open this thing and pull this thing and make that thing move in order to open that thing. And da, 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 da. There's a lot that goes into the game. You know this and I know this. The reason why this character exists is because it's been almost 20 years since the last Metroid Prime game. And while we're talking about Metroid Prime real quick, let's focus on the fact that they just released Metroid Prime, and it didn't sell like that at all. Your favorites, a lot of y'all favorites who sitting there crying about Myles Mackenzie, this is y'all favorite game. They remade it to the most beautiful, pristine thing ever. And let's be clear, it's one of my favorite games of all time, too. And nobody cared. I cared. You cared. But everybody else, they didn't care. And there's a reason for that, because it was released on the GameCube, then it was released on the Wii, then it was released on the Wii U, and then it was released again on the Nintendo Switch, the most popular video game system of all time. And it did the same thing every single time. And then a lot of y'all like to boil it up because that's your favorite. Oh, it's just Metroid. It can't be more than this. If you want Metroid to be more than this, then you're not really a fan. How about this? How about I spin that and say everybody right now crying when we have incredible animation, the best voice acting we've probably heard in a Nintendo game, period, with the faces to go with it, the quality, the budget behind it to go with it, the things people claim they always want from Nintendo games. We got voice acting in Zelda, and it was listen, for video games it was acceptable, right? Like, yeah, sure, fine, but it wasn't the greatest. You compared Myles Mackenzie dialogue to anything else, and it's up there for Nintendo. There's clearly talent there. When this guy's, jumping around, climbing on things for you to, get your upgrades and all this stuff, and overlooking things and talking about the stuff, because guess what? Again, he's a specialist. He's a scientist. He's a guy who's, when he's seeing stuff on a weird planet he never been on, he's going to react crazy. And while, yeah, he got a weapon on him and he got the cool armor on him, clearly his armor is different from the Warrior Federation, right? So when an alien pops out that he's never seen, just comes out of nowhere like a predator, just pops up, he gonna scream, he gonna fumble, I got this. He had heart. But then he dropped his weapon, right? And Samus handles that. And then you go on an adventure with him, and he starts hitting everything up that trying to take out. He's there supporting, he's hiding at times because, there's a lot of enemies here. Yeah, you gotta save him. Yeah, it's an escort mission. Yeah, he's yapping. Oh, don't you think you want to go over there and save? Oh, you should try to go save. You wanna know why? How many times have you heard people be like, yeah, the one thing I hate is, I was doing all this stuff and then I just lost 45 minutes of progress because I didn't save. Who told you not to save? You see a save station, you know what you do? You save. Hell, if you just walk by that save station, hold on, let me backtrack, let me see something over there, blah, blah. You just scan like 2 things. Might as well save again because you don't want to happen to do whatever, die, and then come back and be like, I forgot I scanned those 2 things because I backtracked right here. And you missed it. Now you don't got 100%. Like, I'm just telling you this because, look, I am a Nintendo fan, and any fandom that I am a part of, I understand all aspects of it. I understand isolation. What I don't understand is the fact that they can't get to isolation. It has to be isolation from the beginning to the end. It has to be what y'all wanted to be, which is Super Metroid and Prime. Just say that. Y'all could just play those games over and over and leave us alone. And I'm not trying to be like, if you don't like it, don't buy it. But the reality is saying is like, y'all saying, yo, I don't like this. I'm still going to buy it. I don't like this. I'm still going to buy it. Why? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm not going to go and be like, you know what? I always like that donut, but now they put this nasty ass frosting on it. Right? And they won't remove it from me. It's like, nah, if I'm going to get that donut, now I got to get it with that frosting. I don't like the frosting. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to buy that donut. I'm not going to buy the donut, scrape off the frosting because I really like that donut. It's my favorite donut. Nah. I'm going to just be like, you know what? That thing ain't for me no more. And move on. I'm not going to sit there and just pile on things that I claim to hate, claim to dislike. This ain't Metroid. This ain't... All right, fine. So y'all going to play the game so that y'all can then build a narrative that, I played the game. I gave it a chance. I didn't like it. Like, you already made up your mind. Like, Samus can't do nothing. Look, I'm going to bring up Halo again because this has been a topic for a minute. This is why I made the video talking about wait till these reviews come out. Watch this. Let me prepare you for what's about to happen. This is precisely what I was preparing you for. Here we are. I told you if it's anything resembling Prime 3, it's a wrap when it comes to the narrative surrounding this game. That's going to swallow up everything in the room. And again, this game looks stunning. It's doing so much innovative, cool, new things. And everyone's making it about an NPC that's going to basically work as a tutorial. You got all these other games, they show you how to aim. Hell, Prime 3 did that. Hell, bosses were designed in Prime 1 in order to basically be tutorials. And I get it. You can sit there and be like, yeah, and they could have done that again. But they've done that. And they've re-released your favorite one multiple times, and it didn't work. And Prime 2 was a variation of that. And you started seeing the original seeds of what will come for Prime 3 and now Prime 4 with the Federation and all of that. And I loved all of that. And I've always said that the Federation were cool. Always wanted them around. I think they add to the Metroid series, the Metroid lore. You know, it's all tied together. The war between them and the pirates, and then Samus in between all of that. And Samus is her own thing. You know, with Chozo Tides and everything. It's just a cool thing to have. I love Prime 3, the way they tied in those Federation soldiers into the last mission and you was running around with them. That felt really cool because, you know, most of that game, you was really by yourself. Now, granted, people complained about that game because Aurora Unit was talking to you. God forbid, Myles Mackenzie not only is part of the intro of the game, but sometimes chimes in. No different than beacon received or a question mark popping up on your visor and you got to press the button because it won't go away until you press that button and the map shows you the question mark over there. So you should head in that direction. That's in Metroid Prime 1. No different from, again, you had Aurora units, you had Adam talking to you. This has been happening in the Metroid games for a while. So being able to sometimes just go on your visor and be able to pick one of these members of your party. Look at me saying party for a Metroid game. God forbid. But talk to one of your party members for specific whatever, for accessibility reasons. If somebody needs help, let me see what Miles thinks about this area. You know what I mean? And it's also dependent on the things you scan. Like he'll be able to give you more details about the area and things like that. Yeah, that is fine. And if you can choose to use it and choose to not use it, it is fine. But the conversation we're having is really about this opening section, right? And it's not fine that this section, it's being forced on you. People talking about, yeah, I'm going to turn off the dialogue and da. Honestly, there's one negative. There's one negative that I saw to the gameplay that I've watched so far. And it's the music that's playing on that one bridge. It's literally grating to my ears. And I can't believe that they actually put such an annoying sound in that song. And I'm not going to play that song here because I really don't have a clip with that song. It will basically me taking somebody else's video. And I ain't going to do that. But there's a song there. And I think if you hear it, you hear it. So if you know, you know. But that's the only negative. And that's actually pretty big because it's a song that you're going to be hearing probably a few times. But yeah, that was the only negative. I was like, yeah, that song is kind of annoying right there. And I was just gushing about the music in this game. And then I found some music that was just like, whoa. But anyway, Myles Mackenzie yaps, and points out basic things. Yeah, so that people could play this game. So that people could play it to completion. There's a reason why they do this stuff. You know, there's an actual genuine reason why they do this. Like, trust me, these companies do their due diligence to know what people like, don't like about a game. They do surveys for a reason. They do play testing for a reason. They had people play this game and play this section for a reason and ask them, yo, what y'all thought of Myles Mackenzie specifically for a reason. Myles Mackenzie isn't for us, and sadly, we're going to have to suffer through that the same way we suffer through horrible intros like Twilight Princesses. Even though we played Ocarina, Majora's, Wind Waker, and plenty of other games before that, we had to suffer that intro. Why? Because they wanted to grow the user base. And guess what? It did. It did. And then they did the whole Great Plateau thing. Oh, man, they just throw you out into the open world. It's just open for you. And da. No, it's literally a tutorial. Tricking you to think that you free whatever. And I understand that most Metroid fans are like, yeah, do that then. Trick me into the tutorial. You know, when I jump off the ship, have the 4 red dots right there that I gotta hit in order to open this thing. And then have the first thing that I gotta scan. Teach me how to scan because, well, I can't move from here unless I'm taught how to scan. You know what I'm saying? And all right, now I could go through this door. Now there's a door here that I gotta learn that in order to open these things, I gotta pew. Now I go through. That's the opening of Metroid Prime. They did that. And it must have not worked very well. Understand that. They re-released that game multiple times. So that means multiple times they did their due diligence. And when they released it the last time too, they was like, yeah, it's the same thing. Look, people lost. Like, oh, what I got to do here? Da. And so they say, you know what? The people who know, they'll know. They'll just go and they'll do it. And this guy will just be yapping for a little while. But that's not for them. That's for everybody else. And some people are like, oh, let me skip. It's part of the story. Like, let me skip that. It's part of the story. It gives it texture. It's a little moment in a 30, 40-hour game. For all we know, if it's, you know, like, what do you mean? It's the worst thing in the world. I'm not going to buy this game. I hate this. You know, this could literally kill the game, destroy this game. Look, a lot of people didn't play Metroid Prime 4. But a lot of people had something to say. Metroid Prime 3. But a lot of people had a lot to say about Metroid Prime 3. I've seen now previews from people who never played Prime 3. So this is giving them some crazy whiplash because they went from Prime 1 straight to, 4. Didn't play 2 or 3. Now they're going to go deeper into the story without experiencing zombie Federation soldiers, you know what I'm saying? Without experiencing party members who end up switching on you, you know what I mean? Without experiencing, like, it's so much, like, it's crazy. And it's not like it's the first time that they use a NPC to teach you something. We all remember the animal buddies in Super Metroid. They didn't yap, though, but they did teach you. You know what I'm saying? So I just look at this like, it's just a different way for them to do a tutorial. And the funny part is, if you watch any of my reactions of the treehouse footage of this game, first thing I said was, this tutorial is kind of weak compared to what they did in Prime 3. Because Prime 3 tutorial was heavy. I mean, they had a mini game on the side for you to practice your aiming where you could balance, those sci-fi, I don't know what the hell they were, like bowling pins. But anyway, you could do target practice. They had the enemies literally the dots, those enemies, the orbs, the goddamn 343 shine spark looking things, and you had to pick which one, depending on the one that lit up blue, basically, or whatever, or was it red? It don't even matter the color. The point is that there was things there in order to teach you, Samus, aim at these things and blah blah blah. Those Federation soldiers doing that, and yeah, people had criticisms about things like that. But you know what I did for the last 20 years, basically? I prayed to heaven. And trust me, I got Metroid content for years on this very channel. And you'll always hear me praying to the gods, to the Nintendo gods. Bro, I pray that they don't make a sequel to Prime 1 and pretend Prime 2 and 3 don't exist. Because I feel like that's all people want is that over. And I want that old thing back over and over again. And I was like, I don't want that. I don't ever want to play Mario 64 again. I don't ever want to play a Mario Galaxy that's designed just like Galaxy 1 or 2. I got those already. I much rather 3D World is this, 3D World is that. People hated on 3D World. 3D World was fire, and it was a moment in time. Just like Galaxy was. Galaxy 1 and 2, we got 3D Land, 3D World. Right? We had our new series. That one went for mad long. And then we get Odyssey, Bowser's Fury, where it's open, Mario. So it's like, yeah, if you're going to do a Galaxy 3, I still expect it to be the Mario team doing something new within the realm of that setting. And that's just me. Like, I don't want to play the same old thing again. Like, I'm sorry. Look, I'm a circle back because, look, I've made this content over the last few weeks, preparing you for Metroid reviews, comparing Metroid fans to Halo fans. Bro, I love a lot of IPs that have the privilege of being able to be whatever the they want to be. And yet, Halo, if Master Chief jumps off a cliff that's, I don't know, like a brownstone height, not even that high, and doesn't take fall damage, it's a negative. I'm a Halo fan who never wants to play a Halo game where Master Chief takes fall damage. These dudes got, if you're doing that, just make him a regular guy. Make him Nathan Drake. Don't make him a dude in an armor suit that's supposed to be comparable to Doomslayer and Samus Aran. And then it's like, no, but he has to be just a regular man. No, you got to understand, their sci-fi weapons are so strong, he should just be done by that one bullet. Oh, no, the armor is just so he could breathe in space. But he shouldn't be able to dash around and run really fast and be a super soldier, even though that's what he is. And that's what the game tells us he is. And that's what he does in the cinematics. The gameplay better be like 2001. If it's not like 2001, I will rage. Are you serious? Like, this is what we do now with Metroid 2. It needs to be isolated. Look, I want to lose my abilities. I want to be on an alien planet. I want to scan some stuff, but it better be really nothing to me and stick to nothing and point to nothing and connect to nothing. And there better be nobody chiming in on the nothingness that is all of this nothing that I'm learning about. That's so fun because all of this nothing leads to nothing. And then an escape sequence after fighting a big boss that exists. Why? It don't even matter. But you just scanned him. What it said: big boss, scary monster. Urgh. Oh, that was a great scan. Escape sequence. Get in my suit. Leave. Samus will return. Oh, I can't wait for the next Metroid adventure. Wow. Fire Emblem takes off. Xenoblade. Why are you comparing Metroid to other Nintendo IPs? Shh. Relax. Mario continues to grow bigger than ever. Zelda's at 30 million sales, being nothing like what people say. No, it's not real Zelda. The dungeons, the dungeons, the dungeons. Back to back. Double diamond. You got triple diamond, Breath of the Wild, and twice diamond Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, I think they found their audience. I want y'all to be those dinosaurs so bad. And I got nothing against y'all wanting those same old games, but the thing is, you got them and you could play them over and over. No. But I know where to go, and I want to know not where to go, and I want to figure out other things, and I want to see things, different things. I don't want to play the same game again, but I want this game again and again. Don't make Samus run. Don't you dare give her left hand some abilities. Don't what? Wait, hold on. Don't put like what? We can't do that. No, wait. There's an extra animation. I'm surprised people ain't complaining about it. There's an extra animation between Samus going from first person into the morph ball. And I don't really like that. I saw that she was in the morph ball and then she rolled out backwards and came out of the morph ball. Something you couldn't do in the other series, and was still running backwards to get away from the enemies that just broke through the damn wall like Nemesis. Yeah, I don't like that. Because it doesn't play just like the game from 2001. When I see Halo fans doing that, and I know Metroid fans don't do that like that, but it's like, y'all may as well when you just be playing rules. Yo, Zelda has no rule. Let me ask y'all a question. What's the next Zelda game gonna look like, art style wise? Let's be real, we're all Zelda fans. And I'm not fighting with none of y'all. This is not anger. This is just, I just want to have a discussion about your walls, about your rules. What's the next Zelda? For real, what's the next Zelda? For the person who's going to click on this video and got this far and still listening. Like, this guy bugging, this guy tripping. He ain't a real Metroid fan. I'm not. I own all of them. And I own Prime 3 multiple times. Alongside other games multiple times. What? What are we talking about? Again, what's the next Zelda going to be? The art style, tell me. Is it going to be cel shaded? Is it going to be 3D? Is it going to be medieval? Is it going to be sci-fi? Is it going to be like Tears of the Kingdom? Is it going to be like Ocarina of Time? Are they going to do something like Wind Waker? Or are they going to go back top down, Echoes of Wisdom style, but different? Is it going to be like Echoes of Wisdom, a top down Zelda game? Or is it going to be something more like, Minish Cap or something like that? Will they go pixelated or Octopath Traveler style? Do you know what the next Zelda game is even going to look like? Let alone sound like? Let alone play like, let alone will it be open? Will it be more closed off like classic 3D Ocarina up till Skyward Sword Zelda games? Or will it be open air again? You do not know. Mario. What's under the hat? Will it be a Luma? Will it be Cappy? What's going on? The last Mario game, you played so much of that game, not in the gameplay that you love. Triple jumping and all that. Most of the time you was all kinds of different other things. And where was the complaining? No, on the contrary, the best selling 3D Mario game of all time, and my favorite. And a lot of it is just straight up like Mario. There's an IP who already does what you're doing, and you just kind of eating his lunch. But Kirby came with this 3D game, and that was great too. But yeah, Mario was basically on this Kirby mode. And he was not just transforming with suits like Tanuki, but no, actually becoming other things with Cappy, and nobody cared. And for anyone who was vocal about it, there was literally 30 people who did not hear that noise. And so that brings me to me saying, and I hope that's the case with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I hope y'all made people look at this game and people saw this game and saw the cool animation and everything, and it was a damn, I gotta switch too. Hold on, this actually looks cool. Like, and they enjoy it. Look, I could tackle this multiple ways, and I'm just winging this for real. Like, one take, just wing. But I look at Myles Mackenzie and I go, this guy could easily become, because of the energy in the room right now, the memeable character that takes this game and makes it just break all the records. And that'll be mad funny if Yappy McYapperson over here ends up leading to more people like, I want to play the game just because of the narrative and everything. Look, people just bought a new system. There ain't nothing that look like this on that system. There's really nothing that looks like this on any system. And you could take that as a joke. Oh yeah, graphic wise, because blah blah blah. No, I mean game design, everything, art directions. It's like Metroid has always been one of one. So I hope people are like, you know what? awareness is coming to the game because of all the hating right now. You know, that'll be fun. And don't get it twisted. Like people, like I said, I'm a Nintendo fan. I could look at it in all directions, so people could feel the way they want to feel and be like, yeah, it's just like, yo, like I just don't want Samus, da da da. And it's like I don't want Samus being mute. I want her to talk to him. I'd rather that instead of her just nodding and putting her hand out. Like, yo, I love those moments, but I'd rather her talk because I've heard her talk already. And now you got this kind of voice acting, these kind of faces. Yeah, I'd rather her actually have some dialogue, and I think she will. I think they'll throw something in there. But man, I can't wait to see what she looks like with these kinds of faces. But yeah, I've seen all the jokes about who this character looks like, and I just look at it like I understand what this character is, and people are like, oh yeah, hopefully he gets bodied, and it's like, damn, give him a chance. He could be cool. He could be crucial to the story and be like, damn, there's a cool arc there. And I feel like once other characters are in play, once you save the other ones, and he be yapping, I think some of them will shut him down and things like that. And again, it's not like they're going to be with you all the time, but some people are already bothered that every location you go, you're going to be saving people. Why is it bad that Bounty Hunter Samus Aran is saving people? Y'all just want her going through the planet killing everything. That's whack. This is what I've wanted for so long. Like, I have the content to prove it. Like, you listen to my content, this is the stuff that I wanted. I wanted interaction. I wanted isolation. Like, listen, you could give me talky talkers and give me all the Alien 2, characters and quips, and they're coming out of the walls and all. Yeah, do all of that. Well, it's over, man. Do that. I welcome it. Especially when you're going to give me time, I know I'm going to be going, yeah, 2 hours just doing some puzzles and sneaking through this thing and doing this other thing and fighting this giant boss and da da da. And God forbid there's a intermission in between these things, a breather where it's like, yeah, now you're going to get conversation. Again, if you could use them as a way for accessibility to help you out, to help you, like, because you got scanning and everything, but they can actually give you direction. And again, if it's forced on you, like, crazy, yeah, that'll suck if it's through the whole game. But I don't think that'll be the case. And I know you could say, oh yeah, but you have no proof of that. Yeah, but you have no proof. And I know that the more likely scenario is that is an introduction to teach new players how to play. It's been 20 years and there's no other game that exists like this. This makes perfect sense to me. They're trying to grow the series. I've been saying, oh, talking and adding these annoying characters isn't going to grow the series, but doing the same thing that hasn't grown the series is fine. Oh, why does the series need to grow? So that we don't wait 20 years between releases? I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if this game flop, send Metroid to the Lost Woods. If you don't know what the Lost Woods are because you knew around these parts, the Lost Woods is basically the real-life version of Zelda's Lost Wood. Is where, right now, Star Fox is chilling at. Earthbound been there for mad long. And it's a Lost Woods because they're always trying to get out. And that's the thought process that I have, that there's always Nintendo developers cooking up ideas, and one day one would fit very much with one of those IPs, so then they find their way out the Lost Woods. It's like they're not dead, they're just in the Lost Woods. I wouldn't mind if Metroid Prime games, 3D games, and they just stick to 2D games since the last one's so great. Mine as well. If you just want the same thing, all right, cool, let's keep it 2D. That's the most same, it's the same things. And then Dread did great. All right, keep it like that. It's 2D like Super. And yeah, not much talking, a lot of isolation, and I think everybody should be happy, right? Because that's the narrative right now. People are like, nah, they should do Super Metroid, so do the super expensive game, the big game, the AAA game, but it can't be like a AAA game, so they could get the AAA audience and make the AAA bucks. It's still got to be the thing that hasn't clicked with audiences for 40 years, the thing that Red Knight loves, the thing that you love. We love. But everybody else, they're like, I'm good. Because they just want to run through the game, shooty, bang, bang. They just want it to be Gears of War, Halo, and I'm saying the games that I like, Titanfall 2, they wanted to be that. God forbid, there's puzzles and crazy amounts of puzzles, and the world is a puzzle, and enemies are also a puzzle, like it's just puzzles on top of puzzles. Your weapons, the way you manage them, even that could be puzzly. Opening doors it's kind of puzzling sometimes. Like, jumping could be puzzling. I as you can see, I'm not at all worried about this. Like this, because for me, I love Metroid Prime 4. I thought that series just went up and up the ante, and just it was beautiful at that time during that era to see the series go from, yo, imagining what happened at the beginning of Super Metroid when that camera pans through the room and you see the scientists all taken out. Like, yeah, I know what happened. Obviously, space pirates came in here and they did what they did. Yeah, I get that. Metroids, we got them. Awesome. But we didn't see it. And I always was the kid who was like, man, imagine seeing that. Because Metroid is like Alien. And guess what? I love Alien. So I know if they, had more power and things like that, the games would show more. And people don't want the games to show more, to do more. They just want the same old, same old. I'm surprised people ain't nitpicking. People so caught up on Mackenzie, they not nitpicking anything. Oh, the psychic abilities, like blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I think for the majority, everybody really likes the psychic abilities and everything they've seen. There's still people who criticize the motorcycle. Oh, why is it necessary? And da. Like, without even playing it, giving it a chance. Oh, Nintendo didn't let people play the motorcycle portion because they know Viola's going to be horrible and this, that. Or if you, in tune with how this video game stuff works, they didn't want to make a demo, another one, and put up walls in the desert. And they didn't want to have to be there policing all of these different publications, playing the game, and it's like, oh, this guy's going where we don't want him to go. Wait, no, you can't go over there. No, you can't do that. No, don't scan that. Don't scan that. Get off the controller. Like, they're not doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? This close to launch. So they give the section that they gave. It's clearly before you do all that. It's all right. We're not going to give you the treehouse footage demo. We're not going to give you that demo we've been running around at Gamescom with, which is that demo. We're going to give you what happens right after the artifact situation, after the crisis. And you getting more tutorial, more intro. You get to the safe place where, Miles are going to stay there. And yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's fine. I think it's going to be fine. I think this game still has the potential, even more now than ever, to be the best-selling entry in the series. And I know for a lot of people, they're going to be like, you out of your mind. Because I've already seen the comparisons. Man, I've seen the comparisons to this is Federation Force, this is Other M again. And it's like Other M again. Yo, go press play on any YouTube video that has a cinematic of Other M right now. And listen to the dialogue in that. And then go back. And then you watch Myles Mackenzie's whole introduction. Look at the animation. Listen to the dialogue and everything. And you tell me that they're the same. Like, the fact that the level of talent and skill that is being put into this isn't even being recognized. It's just straight to hating on this thing because it's completely what I don't want to see in Metroid. Shh. It's crazy. This is why I asked the question about continuity and things like that, because maybe Metroid what it just needs to be. If you're going to complain, this is why I make these videos. If you're going to complain about Myles Mackenzie, right, and you just want Metroid to be the same thing over and over and over again, then why does it need continuity? That's why I asked that question. Why does it need continuity? When you could just say, listen, we're going to give you the same type of game, but we're just going to switch the art style up, switch the enemies up, and have fun with it like that. Where people now complain, oh no, I don't like that this one's cel shaded. I don't like that this one has this overly cartoony style. I don't like that this one is so realistic that it's like Dead Space. Oh no, they probably like that one. Yeah, make it Dark Souls. That's what it needs to be. If Dark Souls could do it, then this could do it, and then Metroid could find the audience. And Like, look. I literally am processing every narrative in my brain right now as we speak. And I just fall back, and maybe this is the Metroid fanboy in me. I just fall back to the thought process of give it a chance. Let's see if it works. It's something different because what we've been doing hasn't worked like that. Like I've always said this. I'd rather something tried that's new and failing than doing the same thing. Like, because if you're gonna fail and it's like the same thing, then damn, we could have took a swing and did something completely different. Maybe that could have worked. What a missed opportunity, because that was our last chance. And with our last chance, we didn't even try. We just thought, oh no, let's do the safe thing. That sounds like corporate, bro. And then the funny part is that people are saying, "Oh, this is a corporate mandate from blah blah blah." I'm not even gonna argue that that's not the case. That there wasn't a conversation about, man, let's try to make this game more accessible. We just won an award with the best-selling entry for being the least accessible game. Metroid Dread. Remember, I've mentioned that 1,000 times that I hate that award exists for one of my favorite IPs. And this being Nintendo, who's always been cool with and good with accessibility and had people in old folks' home playing Wii Sports and everything. I'm like, damn, man, how far they've come from that era that they have now a game that's really hard to play for many people. You know what I'm saying? And so much so that it won basically the game of the year for being the least accessible game. That one hurt me. You know what I'm saying? That one hurt me. And people don't like to talk about it, but I bring it up because I felt like, yeah, that's something that they got to figure out and they got to remedy. So I look at it not only as a gamer, but I look at it as a game designer. You get what I'm saying? And I just look at video games that way all the time. And so when I'm sitting here saying, yeah, I want the game to be, a continuation, to be more like Prime 3 and build on that and still have isolation. Yeah, I would love to see Metroid be open world a bit, and just connect these things instead of it being elevators. These are things that I've talked about for years here. So when it all starts coming true in the game, Wolves then dropped the comment. He was like, I swear, you be camped out outside of Retro Studios. Look, I play these games for real. And I've played these games all the time. Like, y'all know I just finished playing Prime 3, Prime 1. So Dread I played again recently. So I'm just saying, like, I play these games all the time. They're there if you want that game. If I want the super isolated experience, I could go play Prime 2. I could go play Prime 1. I could go play Super. The original. They're there. They're there. But I've just wanted to see the series grow. I was going to make a point and I lost my train of thought, but I'm back. Here we go. That time when Prime 3, 2, 1 came out was the best time. Because when 1 came out, we got Fusion with it. Then we got 0 after that. Then we was getting Prime Hunters. So now the series, it felt like it was growing. And it had this cool Saturday morning vibe to it. It was like a sci-fi setting that it fit to me. It's like, yeah, it's like if you're going to do sci-fi, it's Nintendo. You want it to be in the same demographic of a Zelda. I thought Metroid found the perfect space with Federation soldiers and all of that. It's no different from Gerudos and, having the Sheikah, Impa and all that. Like, it's just... It's expanding the IP. If having these characters could help one more person love this series and play this series through to completion, that's a good thing to me. If this ends up selling really well, what are people going to do? They're going to be mad that Metroid sold well because they're going to say, oh, the words in the chatty one, we never going to get Metroid the way it used to be ever again. I'm like, yeah, 40 years of that. 40. Granted, there wasn't a lot in the 40 years, but there was a reason for that. It's like we don't like to talk about that, but it's like, yo, we are fans. We mentioning the flaws is not a negative thing. It's literally just saying what it is, and we're fans despite a lot of these things, or in spite of these things, whatever. Like we are fans through and through. And I'm not saying just be blind fan, but people acting like this is Federation Force now. I seen people throw it out, oh yeah, this is just Blast Ball. I'm like, damn. Oh, other M. That's wild to me. That's wild. Because you look at the game, you look at the locations, you look at what they're doing with the game in comparison to this is literally the continuation of that trilogy. It's nothing worse than when something wants to come back and then it wants to just be a parody of the thing it used to be. It wants to bring everybody back and not tell a new story. It's like, nah, this is that thing, but it's a new thing. And we're going to treat it as such versus just being like, oh, no, you know what? We're going to try to rekindle that old thing. So because it's not that old thing, it's automatically bad. Like, yo, life, it moves forward. We all change when time changes. So I guess that's part of the reason why, yeah, that's why I want that thing. It could just stay the same, but it's not. Not from the mindset of Tanabe. It's 20 years between the last entry. The new team that was put together with the old team at Retro, I've heard shade thrown at us. Oh, this is the Halo. This is the Sony Santa Monica. Oh, this is the MCU effect. And I'm like, yo, y'all naming a bunch of shit that y'all all love. Me too. I'm just saying, y'all all love. We've all loved. has gone to make billions of dollars. Whether you're talking box office, game sales, these things are loved. These things got so much opportunity. There's a Halo, show that was mediocre as hell, but that happened. There's a God of War show that's being worked on right now as we speak. That's happening. Like Uncharted got its movies. All these things went on to do big things. I want Metroid to do big things, but I can hear y'all now if they're making a movie. Yeah, it should be like the Raid, just straight up her just going through body and everything, escape sequence and leaving. Just a real character study, like a real. And it's like, yeah, I'd rather them introduce other characters so that there can be, stakes and the possibility of seeing Samus Aran save people, save things, save creatures. Like, that's part of the character's DNA to me. And the fact that an audience is having this allergic reaction to the character, because it's I feel like I'm making these sweeping statements, but I want it to be clear. Like, there's different groups of y'all. There's some of y'all that's like, no, I don't care that the Federation guy is there. I care what he's doing while he's there. Stop telling me the basic stuff that I already know the answer to. And I understand that. And I sympathize with you that for the first few minutes of the game, for other people's inclusion purposes, they had to do this. All right? Got it? Cool. Separating you. Then you got the other guys who is just straight, no, awful, Federation bad, other human bad, people there bad, interaction bad. Samus, anything connecting with her to hint that anything is bad. I don't want a question mark popping up on the damn map. That's bad. I don't even want direction and game design to teach me how to do things. I just want to figure it out. Like, you understand why these games do whole handy stuff? It's like y'all don't understand how much games need hand-holdy stuff, or people are not going to play. There's a reason why every year, even though Call of Duty sells more than all your favorite games, they still put a tutorial at the beginning. You think Grand Theft Auto is just going to start and just be, yeah, Grand Theft, we here. Everybody play Grand Theft. They don't got to show what's not. No. Rockstar wants everyone to like Grand Theft Auto. And guess what? They took a long ass time to make that game. That's going to be a lot of people's first Grand Theft Auto game. Yes, you're like, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. Because Grand Theft Auto, you crazy. Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming after the biggest game of all time. Like, yeah. And guess what? Mad people was born. And when they was born, Mammy and Pappy was like, you ain't playing that. So this is going to be their first one. Guess what they need to do? Be introduced to the series. Introduce how things work. Are you going to be mad? Oh my God. Yeah, I already know how to drive. Oh my God, they showing me the map. Oh, this guy's giving me exposition and blah, blah, blah. No, you're going to be just happy to play Grand Theft Auto, but God forbid Metroid does this. Is it? Oh no, because it goes against everything Metroid was. What you mean, Rad? I said what Metroid is, and I said was. 18 years. 18 years. They stopped, y'all, for a reason. And then for almost 2 decades, there was only hopes and dreams about a Metroid Prime 4. I would start creating content for a lot of that 2 decades, talking about Prime 4, hopes and dreams. Oh, they should make a Federation spinoff in between. They did do that on the wrong hardware. You saw how that turned out. But anyway, I was, I want this, I want that. And a lot of the things that I wanted to happen is happening now. People are like, yo, it's going to turn out like Federation for us. No, it's not. Stop it. You know damn well that these things aren't comparable, and that comparison is laughable. But understand, like, they're trying. That's the most important thing. And we went from questioning the rollout, but it's like, listen, they did they roll out this year, how they did it. They dropped amiibos. They got more amiibos to go. Hopefully, all the Federation soldiers get amiibos. But if there was going to be a bundle now, purposefully Nintendo, don't include Myles in the bundle. Give him his own. You heard? His own, and put another a boss with him and everything, so that people want the boss creature or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, you got to get Myles. we gonna be forcing Myles down your throat. Listen, Myles for Smash Brothers, Sakurai. That should be the first character you design. Or Smash Brothers ain't even worth making. Yo, nah, for real though, like, these characters, I'm excited to see who they are. You know, I just want to know who survives, who doesn't. It's gonna be real interesting. It's gonna be real interesting, and the role that they're gonna play, how they connect and interact with Samus is gonna be interesting, and the fact that there's this like these stakes that I have to now consider. Like, yeah, I'm on this adventure and I'm going to do these crazy things because they can't, because they not bounty hunter Samus Aran. You saw how she towers over them. They not her, so she's gonna go do these things and she's gonna want to save all of them. So if we lose any of them, that's gonna be a loss for Samus, and that's gonna be, that's gonna be hard, yo. Like, damn, because she's really gonna try to save everyone, and I think that's cool. Better than just a scenario of, oh yeah, save this random race and then try to get back home. Nah, they actually gave us some layers. They actually gave us some depth, and again, the stakes are going to be higher now, because you're trying to save some Federation. And remember, at this time, Samus does a lot with the Federation. She came up through the Federation. So she has a camaraderie, a respect for them. And then look at the way they all interact with her. Like, I've seen people already try to shade the other characters, like the girl who runs across Samus, and she's like, geeking out. And I love that moment. You saw my genuine reaction. I was like, oh, snap, Samus is in space with another woman. Like, that's epic. Like, I never would have thought that would happen, but here we are. And yeah, we've seen other women in Prime 3, but I mean, like, out there, and it's like she was like geeking out and running around Samus and looking at her stature and everything. It's exactly what you would do. I feel like these characters are reacting exactly like you would do, and also reacting the way they would within the confines of what the purpose of them existing within the narrative and the gameplay experience being for. That means Myles being chatty patty, man, makes sense. Then you have like the dude who I'm like, yo, is that Anthony? But you have him. He clearly more the warrior, more stern. You see the army guy, the other guy with the giant, space rifle, who's like, yeah, I only care about my family. And they're getting swarmed. It's looking like a scene straight out of, Starship Troopers, but also Prime 2 when the Eng were attacking. And this is seeing them there, stand their ground. Epic stuff, So I'm like, yeah, I could see us liking some of these characters. And people are already like, no, I will not like none of these characters because they don't belong in this game. Like, this game, this IP, the Metroid series is not supposed to have anyone breaking isolation and da 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 da. And it's like, these rules, like, who made these rules? It's not your IP. And it's not mine either. They're free to do whatever they want, whatever they think can make this IP cooler, for growth purposes. Who was the one when we first saw Zelda? That content exists. When we first saw Breath of the Wild, I said, yo, those outfits, Link getup and everything, that's 100% being done to ready us for the movie. Now, I told y'all last week on the podcast for the Patreon who listened when we talked about the Zelda movie, I said, yo, it's shooting now. We're going to see some good stuff, and I'm sure we're going to see characters revealed. Well, yeah, we got that. And we got spoilers. It's not spoilers, but it is a spoiler. But yeah, it looks like Impa is in there. But the point is, Link looks like Link, but Zelda looks like she has touches of Skyward Sword. You know what I'm saying? Like, clearly she looks like Skyward Sword Zelda more than anything. And I love that, like how they're blending in, because Impa looks like Ocarina of Time. Link looks like he could be any Link from any Green Tunic era, and Zelda looks like clearly Breath of the Wild. Even though she's wore blue in other games, it's clearly Breath of the Wild. And I said they did that because they knew that they were going to expand. So having new characters and giving texture to the Metroid mythos and everything of it can help with rounding out a cast for a movie. And yeah, they could be fodder. But I like that. Again, Alien 2 is awesome. Having a cast of characters and seeing a bunch of them get wiped out, like, that's always been cool in sci-fi stories. You know what I'm saying? So it's just hard for me to take this serious, because really the main takeaway is that other games could do this. It's fine than anything else, but Metroid is this. This is what Metroid always been. Metroid can't be anything else but that. But yet Zelda got to change, Kirby got to change, Mario got to change, Xenoblade got to change. You get what I'm saying? Like, Paper Mario's got to change. You can say for better or worse, but they still got to change. You know what I mean? And other games get to change. Mario Kart gets to change. Mario sports games get to change. Smash Brothers has different aspects, and people wanted to be Melee forever, but they still push forward. It changes, and it's completely crushed Melee and made that conversation not even realistic no more, because most people play Smash know damn well that the last one is the best one, and it's the ultimate game. But yeah, like they just don't want to see no other series change, while Yoshi gets to go from multiple different art styles to different gameplays, 2.5D, all kinds of stuff. Like, yeah, nah, we don't want Metroid to do nothing. And it's crazy because Metroid Prime is such a changey game. Worst sentence ever, but it is. It's a changey game. And by that I mean, Metroid Prime, a lot of that game you play in third person, right? We call it an FPA, but a lot of that game is played in third person. Every morph ball section, that is third person gameplay. And you do that a lot. A lot. Then there's a lot of first person. Then there's actually 2D sections, like the awesome 2D section that you saw in this brand new overview trailer with like the slinky morph ball going across the platform. All of this variety they could do in the gameplay, and people are 100% fine with that. But God forbid they try to add more just to try to just maybe make someone care. You get what I'm saying? It's like they're trying to give you the why of it. Not even the why of it. Like they have to make the why completely, like from scratch. And they're trying to lay it out in a way where it's like, okay, it's cinematic, it's epic, it's a good introduction, and then you get to what you love, and then there's going to be more cinematic and epic moments and things like that. And you know what's crazy? There's a lot of Metroid fans who just played Prime 1, and then played Prime 2, Prime 3. But then there's so many of us who, when we talk about the series, we talk fondly about the action and the way Samus moved in Other M. We don't just sit there. It's 2025. Like, why are we still, Other M trash, the worst game in the world? We already know most of us don't like it overall. But a lot of us have a fondness for aspects of it. And some of us genuinely are like, nah, I genuinely like that game. It's my introduction to Metroid, you know what I mean? And it's because what? It was more casual, more hand-holding. It could be that. But it worked for somebody. Now, granted, for the majority, it went bad. But I don't think that's going to happen with this game. But the point is, we could look at and talk at any point about Metroid now in 2025, and we're going to bring up characters and bosses from Metroid Prime 2. We're going to talk about epic moments from Prime 3. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about Aurora units. We're going to talk about Zero Suit Samus and Fusion. We're going to talk about Adam and his dynamic with Samus and the annoying, rules. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I hated Adam because it felt like it was like beyond mansplaining. Now, this guy, they like, yo, Myles, like, yo, he's just mansplaining everything. And I'm like, that's not the way it's worded. Like, that's messed up to try to make it like it's like that. No, he's just a scientist dude. You know what I'm saying? He's just pointing out, oh, Samus, look at this. He's geeking out. He's with Samus Aran, and he's freaking out because he's on the, like, this is why I'm literally looking at it for what it is. And I think that they captured it actually right. And it's sad that we can't even have a conversation about that. I mean, we could, but instead here I am talking about people's, disdain with this character. But it's like, yeah, he's pointing, oh my God, over there, ah. There's like, yo, why he's screaming like that? Because he's not a soldier. You can see them. They clearly each have different getups. It looks like we got 3 actual warriors, Federation soldiers. Then we got him. He's clearly the guy that they brought along to study the stuff. Even Avatar, James Cameron Avatar did this. Remember the scientist dude? He's still around. He's in the new movie too. And you saw him work his way up into a warrior. Like, man, y'all don't even give nothing a chance. I come from the school of Karu. Karu went from being the soft mother who was being abused to being the illest warrior in the zombie apocalypse, and seeing that arc over 15 years has been beautiful. And then we look at Samus and be like, all right, it's been 40. What's up? It's like we got a little bit here, there, but for the most part, she's been handcuffed, chained down. Y'all her oppressors. More than anything. Y'all are her oppressors. While y'all gonna sit there and be like, oh, this guy is mansplaining, da da da. Nah, it's y'all. Y'all really trying to hold this thing down. And again, I'm not even like overly like bothered by y'all or offended or offended or anything like that, because I knew I made the content talking about this exact reaction, and I just hope this exact reaction is what causes this game to do really, really well. I really do. I hope people, tune in, see the game, and be like, damn, this shit looks epic. Like, maybe there's that one guy who played Halo's like, yo, I never played a Metroid game, but I got this Switch too. Or they got a Switch 1 sitting around. They're like, you know what? I think I'm going to get this game, because I want to play something like this. Why not? Somebody who played maybe Titanfall was like, man, this is giving me vibes that I like the sci-fi setting. Why not? People who love sci-fi, anything. When you're in a sci-fi mood right now, you're like, yo, aliens, Predator, Avatar. It's so much going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me get this Metroid game. I just hope that it ends up clicking with a lot of people, and I hope a lot of people give it an opportunity and a chance. And I'm glad that the game is actually going to welcome those people and introduce them to the greatness. The things that makes us all fans of this IP. I want more people to play it. And I get it. Some people really, really like to be that annoying person. What annoying person, you might be asking? That annoying person that when you wearing a t-shirt of your favorite artist, it could be a rapper, singer, your favorite band, this person wants to challenge your fandom, right? Like, because they feel they got some sense of ownership around it, and they want to ask you to name 5 songs from that artist. Like, if I gotta prove and justify me wearing this shirt, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's absolutely insane. Hell, this comparison is kind of insane, but honestly, it's the closest I could get to the damn point I'm trying to make. It just feels like you're trying to have this like super control over this IP, and nobody else. You don't care for nobody else to participate, and you don't care about the growth of the series. So it's like, yeah, I don't care about none of that. I just want what it is that I want. It's not my job to care about, anything else. But they better still keep making this, because if they don't, then Nintendo sucks. This console sucks. Where's the Metroid game on this system? Where's the Metroid game? Yo, where Metroid at? Why no Metroid? But they can't do no work to actually try to expand the audience. And one thing you could say, and you could talk all the shit you want, when the Nintendo Switch hit, Nintendo, while many people thought that would be a flop, hell, people was thinking Switch 2 was going to be a flop. While many people was thinking that the Switch line would be a flop or would fall off or whatever the case, Nintendo literally made all of their IPs bigger than ever. Literally every single one came out and did better numbers than any of the previous entries. Every single one. People were counting out Mario Party. And Mario Party went on to become a monster sales juggernaut. Back to back to back now. So yeah, they have been doing things that may not seem normal to you or to me in the way they market things and how they move in with certain IPs, but then they come out and the numbers don't lie. So I'm just sitting back now and I'm just taking, because they knew what they did. They chose to do this. They literally chose, we're going to give them this slice of the game. We want to go into the game with this being the narrative. Because they knew. The same way I talked about it weeks ago, they knew. And they chose. They didn't choose to avoid this. They purposefully chose, let's give them Myles. Let's show them Mackenzie. Let's rip the Band-Aid right off. So that hopefully by the time they get to the reviews, they've already cooled down. You know what I'm saying? And then they could actually review the game accordingly. I know some people already, this game is a 7, is a 8, just because there's dialogue. Just because it's not a toggle for me to specifically turn off this character or to skip this thing. It's like, yeah, I'm going to just dock it, automatically. Doesn't matter that a bunch of the games that they've given Game of the Year to have done things just like this or far more egregious or just straight up easier games. Yet this is an actual game that's hard with intricate puzzles and level design, and y'all want no tutorials. They say, oh, but From Software, like, don't bring up From Software, bro. It's the most annoying thing in the world. That's dumb. And that's that game. Metroid is not Elden Ring. Metroid is not Any of their games, Demon Souls, none of that. You get what I'm saying? So don't act like the comparison is one to one. Don't act like just because the audience that plays Hollow Knight or plays that thing, you know what I'm saying, which is a bigger audience than Metroid, is like, yeah, so Metroid should be fine doing it. No, Metroid has to do its own thing because Metroid is its own thing. Y'all so quick to want to be like, but this thing and point and compare and because that's everything, right? It's always console wars, it's always comparison, list wars. My thing is better than your thing. Like, obviously, it could just never be. All these things are cool, but they're different. They find different audiences. They did different things. They just click with people different, right? Because I see the shade thrown at Hollow Knight from some Metroid fans. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not mad at that. That game exists and people love it. It's because of our favorite in the genre, right? Then it is what it is. That's fine. Oh, but it surpassed it and it blew past it. It don't matter. Sometimes you ain't gonna be the one. Sometimes you're gonna do all the things right and say all the right things, and the audience still ain't gonna respond to you. They still gonna go and yeah, I wanna go that way and do that. Why? For whatever reason. You can't control it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just really just blown away that yesterday we got such a good trailer, the one we was waiting for, right? The overview with all the details. And I know we have to discuss what was in there. But for the narrator to instantly just come out of that and be this one little thing, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna let that swallow up all the discussion, and we're not gonna pinpoint the fact that we done seen cool areas, cool aggressive enemies. We're seeing all this just funny. I don't want to say non-Nintendo stuff because a lot of Nintendo games now are doing good voice acting, crazy good cinematics. That's been happening all throughout the Switch generation. But this game seems to be taking it even to a higher level and matching the North American gaming industry. And I know that might be something that you find as a negative, you know, and be like, oh, yeah, well, guess what? Everything can't please everyone, which brings me back to the point. If you're saying like this is bad, you're using that verbiage. This is bad. I do not like this. And then following that with, oh yeah, I'm still in day one. I'm still going to buy it. Make it make sense to me. Oh no, because I just don't like that aspect of it, but I'm going to still enjoy all the rest of it. But whenever I talk about that game, I'm going to always shit on it for all time. So what I'm going to add to the series when it comes to me as a fan is nothing of value. I'm going to just always try to push people away from playing anything other than Super and Prime 1. I've seen y'all. For the majority of this video game's existence, I've seen y'all. I know exactly who y'all are. And I don't know how much of a role y'all played with setting expectations and building narratives, so when people go into a game, they only seeing your thoughts and your nonsense, and they putting it on that game, and it's automatically this stink that's on the game because y'all made it that, not because it is, but because y'all decided it is, because this is what the game is, and it can never be what they say it is, so automatically it is bad. You know, it's wild that people could try something, play. That's like somebody showed you the first 15 minutes of a movie and you're like, yeah, I hate everything about it. But I like the director, so I'm going to still give it a chance. And I'm going to still pay for it. And then I'm going to continue to shit on it, even though I hated it. Like you didn't like nothing? Nothing. I hate it. So much so that whatever I did like, it don't matter because I'm only here talking about the thing that I hated. So if that just swallowed up all the air in the room, yeah, I hate it. Oh no, but I'm gonna still go watch it. So what? So when I walk out the theater and I enjoyed the movie, you're gonna be talking to me still about how much you hate it, and then be mad that I don't hate it along with you, and then be like, oh yeah, you just a shell. Oh, you just like anything that director makes. Oh, you just like Metroid, no matter what. So you was gonna like this no matter what. That's the craziest thing in the world. Because if it was like that, then I would always say Super Metroid is my favorite Metroid. And I constantly say Super Metroid is not more fun to play than Zero Mission Fusion or Dread. But if that's your favorite, good for you. Metroid Prime is the most babyest, hand-holdy, easiest of the Prime games. No, that's Prime 3. You're out of your mind. Go play Prime 3 right now. I know you just played Prime 1. If you have the means to play Prime 3 right now, go play it again and tell me, oh, because there's help in here, and they point you in the direction. Yeah, because the world is way more intricate than the world in Prime 1. Oh, no, but the interconnected world, don't confuse mediocre level design and having to walk through the same areas in order to get to other area because they didn't have the smarts at the time to make it, more of a fun user experience. There's a reason why games have quick travel and have all these other things. A lot of us, man, we just got fed up with annoying stuff in video games that were just things that were of the time. Like not having narratives and stories and epic cinematics because we were dealing on 8-bit, 16-bit consoles. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I hate when I have to sit here and make it sound like if I hate Metroid Prime 1, which is furthest from the truth. It is literally the beginning of the greatest trilogy. Not no more though, because it ain't a trilogy, right? But of the greatest trilogy, of all time to me. It is literally the beginning. But it feels like that. It's the beginning. Then the middle is real dark. Honestly, Metroid Prime feels a lot like Lord of the Rings, where it's Fellowship of the Ring. Everybody always, your Fellowship of the Ring is my favorite. Yeah, the introduction, the soft movie, the safe movie, the one where the stakes were very, very low. It was fun. It was adventure. But once shit got real and trees was burning and people who had to, fall back and put their back literally up against the wall and defend. And then it got even crazier with the multiple paths and the multiple storylines now all going a different direction in Return of the King. And then they all connect at the end in one epic conclusion. But you had the character work of the deceiver and the rise of the king and all that. Like you had all these levels to it. And it was the same thing with Prime. It was the same thing. That middle game is very dark. You got zombies. You got, a dark world. It's very drab, depressed, and everything. You know what these same people said about that game? They didn't like that game because it was just too dark. It was just too hard. It was just too heavy. Oh, yeah, they had ammo, and they had all these things, and I didn't want to be doing all this stuff. Oh, the boss fights were crazy hard and difficult. Damn, I remember that. And I remember loving it and thinking, damn, this game is better than Prime 1. They actually made a better game. It's bigger, better, and better. Blah, blah. No, it's not better than Prime 1. No, it's not Prime 1. It's perfect. It's the perfect game. It's the perfect game. Yeah, because it's Super Metroid. Ocarina of Time is just Link to the Past. That's why, right? That's why it's the best, because it's the closest thing to that old thing. You the type to get you the type to date that one girl who looked just like your last girl. And then your new girl looked just like the last girl who looked just like the previous girl. So then all your friends, they be like, this guy got a type. Yeah, that same old thing. And then you get older. Now you pushing 60, but you got a type. So now you coming around with these 20-year-olds and your friends are looking at you like, this dude got a type. It went from haha to now they looking at you weird with the side eye. I might be going too deep with this, but like, it's true. It's constantly just wanting to live in the past with that same old thing. Nothing could be better than the old thing. Nothing better even try to challenge this old thing. If it even look like this old thing, I gotta bring it up. I gotta yell it out. You know what's mad funny? A lot of y'all reading y'all comments who hating on Myles Mackenzie, y'all remind me of Myles Mackenzie, of what y'all claim to hate. It's like you sitting there pointing out every little screaming, y'all literally him. I think y'all hate him because it's a mirror. And you seeing a reflection of yo dumbass. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, he's seeing a reflection of yo dumbass. Nah, I'm just playing. But honestly, no, I'm just playing on the dumbass part. But on the rest of it, it's kind of true, right? It's kind of true. That's what it is. That's what it is. Now, look, Myles is rubbing people the wrong way because, he's so MCU, this and that. Damn, man. I haven't been a DC fan in a long time, many years. People on Patreon, y'all know this. We talked about it there for years. But when I was last a major fan of DC and their cinematic experiences, I'll say, I remember being a fan of the MCU too, but always making it clear, like, yeah, I prefer this other thing just because the tone to me just fits better for me personally. I feel like this is like a continuation of the things that I grew up on, but this continues to grow up with me. I like the Marvel stuff, but they haven't really touched on my favorite stuff. The mutant stuff, the things that deal with real stuff. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Politics and governments and race and, yeah, religion, all that. Yeah, X-Men does a lot of that. That's where it get good. Hopefully it could get there. You know, but anyway, you know, they had a lot of quips, and I was like, damn, every big moment, they always had to undercut it. They couldn't let us breathe with the moment. They had to throw in a joke because, God forbid, the audience is challenged with something with a little bit of weight. Could you imagine when Gandalf fell, right? You fools. Yeah, all right, cool. Gandalf. The minute that they get out and everybody crying, Boromir just, get up, you goddamn lames. Like you know, like what? Like trying to make a joke, like to just soften the mood. That'd be horrible. No, instead the music played. Everybody cried. Legolas, get them up. Get them up. And it was like, yo, it was hard. And the camera pans to Frodo and he's crying. The one tear come down his eye. I bring this all up to say, like, y'all loved the MCU. All day, every day. They went on to make all the money. Straight up killed off the DC universe. Had WB trying to be Marvel so bad. It was crazy. That's how much there was love. And now it's bad. Now it's awful. Now everybody's hating it. Will it be bad when Doomsday comes out next year? I don't know. Will it be bad when Spider-Man comes out? Oh no, but Spider-Man's a quippy character. He got to be quippy. He got to do quippy character. But quippy is quippy. And you can't tell me that in another universe, these two guys wouldn't be besties. You can't tell me that if Miles got bit by a spider, he wouldn't basically be Miles Morales because he'll be Spider-Man swinging around just like Peter Parker, right? Because he basically fits that Peter Parker build. You get what I'm saying? So you could like that guy, but you can't like, oh no, but it's, I get it. I understand. He's breaking the game. You know, that's not the whole game. That's the easy stuff. That's the beginning of the game. The first, like 20 stars in Mario games usually is straight baby stars. And yet, we accept it because we know as we play, we're going to be learning all these new mechanics, which that's what you're doing. While you're with Miles, he's just giving you exposition, a lot of it. And then you get, you know, these things, and then you're let loose. It's like you're a baby. You got to learn how to walk. I got to walk you to the corner of the street and be like, this is the sidewalk. That's the street. Don't go in the street without looking left or right. You know, usually you want to look at the lights. You can look at the signs and things like that, but don't trust these lights with these walk signs because sometimes they're broken. So you always want to look left or right. Got it. And you do that every time you go to the supermarket, every time you walk them to school, every time you're doing whatever, you outside. Oh, where we at? Come on, help me cross. Help me cross. And it's like, look left, right. Boom. Also, if you on the corner, look over your shoulder because a car could be turning from that side. It's like almost like teaching them driving. All right, cool. Now you ready? We ready to walk? You sure? You sure? Then we walk across. Then eventually, when you let them fly, you send them off to school by themselves, and they playing. All right, you going to go to school with your friends? Cool. So just make sure when Mackenzie's making all them jokes and talking and all that nonsense, you look left to right still, you know, because you crossing the street. Because sometimes you get caught up talking. And you go walk into the street, and then you make up a story if you don't got a real one, and be like, yeah, because you know one time with my friend, and then man, and you be like, damn, yeah, now you scarred them for life, and now they know to look left and right. Nah, for real. Then now they go out and they know, and you feel more comfortable, you feel more reassured that your baby's out there in the real world, and they know, man, to look left and right. You've taught them, you prepared them. Don't talk to strangers. Don't do this. Don't do that. Make sure you got this. Keep, you know, money separate outside of your wallet just in case if you get, you know, stuck up. You got something still on you for you to get back home, whatever that. Yo, all these different strategies. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that goes into it, especially whether you're raising a girl or a boy. You got to have different dynamics. So for me, I had my little Samus Aran. So, you know, I had my little strategies all the time. I'm telling her, like, yeah, do this, do that. And still, even still to this day, I'm giving gems. It's like, all right, now you driving. So, yo, please, I beg you, don't text and drive. Don't text and drive, you know? And that is what video games are doing too. And it's for new people, like babies. They have to introduce them to the world before they let them go. Be lucky that this doesn't look like it's going to be, you know, a hour long. Damn it. For some people, that tutorial to Twilight Princess was like 3 hours. Because it was like, yeah, I had to learn what Zelda was, the kind of game. Then I had to do all this other stuff. Then I got to go get this cat. And I got to go do this thing. And I got to go sneak. And now I'm a werewolf. And now it was a lot. You know, and there was a lot of criticism there. And I gave it a lot of criticism. And I was like, yo, I just want to start. And then Skyward Sword came out. I was like, this ain't enough. I want to start faster than this. And so they came up with an even more genius tutorial. And I know stated this up multiple times. The argument could be, yeah, they could have did that with this. Yeah, but the thing is, they're trying to expand this, and they've done different tutorials already for Metroid, and they've done chatty ones too in Prime 3. This is something a little bit more different. It's a little bit more in your face too. And I think that's okay if you're going to pull back and then be like, yeah, now you got to go through the map. You got to go through this. You got to scan. You got to read. You got to da, 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 da. Yeah, nobody's talking to you right now. There's no dialogue all day, every day, 24/7. Yeah, you could ask for assistance, sure, in your, helmet and your visor, and they might tell you a hint or two. But for the most part, it's Metroid. Enjoy being lost. Figure it out. Life's tough. Get a helmet. So instead of going in circles, I just realized that I've been talking for an hour and 15 minutes. I think I've said enough. Honestly, I could sit here and we could debate this. Maybe I should have did it live so y'all could chime in the comments, and maybe I'll do that during the week just to see where we all at. But definitely drop comments right now because I would love to conversate with y'all in the comments about this. And I don't care what side you on. You know what I'm saying? You welcome here. You a Metroid fan. You gonna go out and buy the game even with all this hate in your blood. You a fan. You gonna add to the sales, bro. You good with me. Because you helping me get more of this. And hopefully you get more. And maybe you'll get the game you want. Maybe the next one they'll be like, we're gonna go full blown isolation again just because of all the complaining. And now, Red gonna be mad. Oh, it's like they're taking a step back and da da da. But I probably wouldn't because I'll look at the game design. I'll be like, oh, that's new, this new, that new, this completely different. I like it. I love it. I can't wait. Either way, I guess you could just say I'm that Metroid fan that I'm going to like it no matter how it is. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, I like Samus no matter what she look like. All right, she gained a little bit of weight. She could gain a little bit more. More cushion for the push. And I'm going to like you no matter the way you are, girl. I want you just the way you are, girl. Just the way you are. Anyway, I'm tripping right now. Yo, I'm done. I'm out of here. I hope y'all enjoyed this. This is just genuine, my opinion, my thoughts, in one take. And, if I fumbled and didn't finish any points, my bad. Again, one take, I didn't have nothing prepared. I just said, I want to talk about this straight up. First thought, after eating some breakfast. And that's what I did. So I wasn't hangry while I was over here talking and being like, you know what, man? F all y'all. Y'all hating. Whatever, man. Don't buy the game. Don't da-da-da. Don't this, that. Because I genuinely don't feel like that. I'm like, yo, I want y'all to buy the game because I hope that it impresses y'all. And it exceeds y'all hopes and dreams. And at this moment, you be like, you know what? Overall, it was awesome. And more importantly, I liked the character and I felt for the character. And when the character finally bit the bullet, I didn't want him to. And it hurt me that I couldn't save him. And damn, man, I wish I could have saved all of them. It's crazy because and now we got that debate. Now I was like, yo, I didn't want Mackenzie to die. It would have been cool if he would have popped up in another game. Wait, y'all want more Mackenzie? Say it ain't so. That would be me. But yeah, man, that's it. I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for tuning in. Until the next one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Screw attack that like button. Join the Patreon if you haven't. And yeah, that's it. Until the next one. Peace.